Welcome back to another episode of Buffalo Happy Hour. Mike, what's up?
Derek, I'm excited for this. We're sitting down with a very interesting businessman who's done a thing or two in regards to the state and the local Buffalo economy. So let's start with introductions, and then we'll dive right into your story, man.
Sure. How you guys doing? My name's Brandon Carr. How's everyone doing today? Owner of the Quarter and working on a new establishment, NOLA Buffalo, right here on Franklin Street.
So it's all obviously New Orleans themed. What sparked that?
Sure.
Are you just a huge fan of New Orleans?
You know what? I hadn't been to New Orleans until about 5-6 years ago. My older brother is a famous musician there. He's the fiddle player for the Squirrel Nut Zippers. And even though I hadn't been there my entire life, I went down there finally and visited him. I was the best man in his wedding, and I was like, oh my God, the city's amazing. The food there is so delicious. The atmosphere is fun. The music's fun. That's where cocktails originated, and we're like, okay, this is perfect. I want to bring this back to Buffalo, and have everyone experience what I just experienced.
Wow.
So how's the setup for something like that? Because obviously there's things that are authentic to the state of Louisiana. So how can that get brought to Buffalo?
Sure. So we one of the biggest things was atmosphere. We wanted to bring the atmosphere, the vibe, the feeling that everyone has down there with live music and just all the sights and everything like that. So when we took over where we are now at the Quarter, we had a building that was from 1891, original brick, all this beautiful woodwork. And we're like, wow, this is perfect. This looks like a bar that would be in New Orleans. So we kind of had that atmosphere already cultivated with just the presence of the building. From there, starting at the Quarter, we didn't even have food in the beginning. We just wanted to bring the cocktails and all those different tastes of the drinks there. And as we realized, man, we're really missing out a giant portion here. The food in New Orleans is so unique and so special. Let's build a kitchen here. So at the Quarter, the kitchen is very, very small. It's very, very limited. So we started with a bunch of the really traditional New Orleans dishes, our shrimp etouffee, jambalaya, gumbo, things like that. And then we realized, okay, well, this is Buffalo too. This is, anywhere I've ever gone in the entire country, food doesn't beat Buffalo's food. So we tried to kind of Buffalo-nize some of the New Orleans dishes and created a bunch of things that we think, were very unique. You go anywhere else and you get chicken wings or buffalo wings. Go down to Florida and have buffalo wings. They don't taste anything like ours. So we try to find different ways to make like a Creole Cajun chicken wing. We took a bunch of items that we made them like that while still sticking true to the traditional New Orleans dishes that are real staples there. But now that we have a much larger kitchen, a bigger building, a much better spot, we're going to really go right down the middle with all the food that we're going to be doing. We actually just finalized our full menu today with a lot of things, and we're very excited about all the different unique flavors that nowhere in Buffalo has.
How did this? There's so much going on, but how did you get into this entire thing? Because there's people that basically just see your title and name but don't know your story.
Yeah, I mean, I've been just a self-entrepreneur kind of out of nowhere. I started my first business when I was about 24, and that business sparked another one, and I've done, many things in Buffalo, from, plowing and landscaping companies to a dental imaging lab. And, I always bartended throughout. I always loved bartending. So even in this building right here, the former Bambino, basically what I would do is each winter or different season, I'd find a bar that I think either could use help or just something I can do to help a local business. So I started bartending here, and it ended up being my favorite place to work. Bambino was so much fun. Their food is great, and the atmosphere was awesome. It got a little wild and crazy after towards the latter end of it. But then when I opened the quarter, I'm like, man, it would be great to be in this spot. This would be just taking what I've already kind of built as a sample size and making it something awesome. And I had always wanted to own a restaurant bar. Throughout my years, I always thought it'd be interesting. What was I thinking? Especially what happened over the last 18 months. That was, we've only been open for 3 years, and 20 months of it has been coronavirus life. I don't regret it at all. It's been very, very difficult, and it's a very, very challenging occupation to own a restaurant. But like I said, I don't regret it. It's been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot, and I look forward to doing more things to bring to Buffalo and become a part of it.
What was your expectations when you wanted to get into the restaurant industry?
Be a millionaire.
Yeah, really.
That didn't happen. Really, I look at restaurants like Mother's and things like that, and I think, wow, that place has been here for 20 years. Everyone knows it. It's just like, hey, what do you do when you come to Buffalo? I kind of want it to be something that if you came to Buffalo, if you were an outsider, what makes Buffalo Buffalo? Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of unique places that make Buffalo what it is. I just kind of want to be a part of that. I want to be something that is special, that people make memories at. Maybe they go on their first date, and then a couple years down the road they're married, and our first date was at the quarter, or now soon to be NOLA. I just think that's a very very special thing to give good experiences to people and to the city I love.
What was your thought process around naming the quarter? Was it just as simple as the French Quarter? Did you have any other ideas?
We had a couple other ones. Actually, that was NOLA was in one of the first steps there. There was a couple names that we were going through, a couple different jazz names and things like that. And then the quarter, it was kind of funny because it wasn't just the quarter in the beginning. We also had the Llama Lounge arcade upstairs. And we're like, okay, well, people put quarters in, the French Quarter.
Oh, okay.
It seems like the greatest thing. So yeah, we had llamas all posted around the upstairs and a bunch of arcade games. It was
why?
I don't know. There's no true explanation for that. We were just like, hey, well, people like llamas. This will be funny. No, it actually derived from this one painting we bought, and it was a painting of a llama that was real dressed up and had beads and almost looked Mardi Gras. And for the quarter, we're like, well, let's put this up there. It looks kind of unique. And everyone started taking pictures with it. We're like, all right, let's add a couple more llamas around the place. People seem to like them. Next thing you know, people were stealing them off the walls and running out the door. We're like, people really like llamas. We want to build the arcade upstairs. Let's just call it the Llama Lounge. That sounds fun. And yeah, no good reason to it.
How does one go about building an arcade?
You just, you pick out certain games that you think people would like. We started with the traditional, darts and foosball and pool and stuff like that. And then as we noticed people were really, really enjoying it, we decided, okay, let's, get arcade games and foosball, bubble hockey. At certain points, I did a lot of challenges where, hey, if you can beat me in, bubble hockey, free drink, free shot on me.
Nice.
One person beat me ever.
Really?
Yeah, I'm stupid good at bubble hockey. I don't
stupid.
And I had never played it really. I mean, maybe as a kid, but once I had the machine there, all right. Yeah, anytime I kind of get put to a challenge, I'm like, I want to be the best at it.
Sure.
And we had done a lot of all the really cool things. I had got a bunch of TVs and all the original Atari, Sega, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, and I just set them up where people could play games for free.
Sure.
So when NOLA opens up, we're actually going to go back to that bar arcade style there. We're going to bring ping pong is one of the biggest things that we're going to feature. I'm very, very excited about that. There's no real bars. There might not be any bars that have ping pong in it. I cannot, not that I can
I don't think so.
Yeah, so we're going to put a couple of ping pong tables up there, do a lot of things, a lot of concepts that we've seen in Chicago and New York City that I think will be a real cool atmosphere here.
How do you buy bubble hockey, or is there a site that you can go to that people still make them, or are they all secondhand?
Nope, Super Checks is the way to go. And I have a person that a lot of places some games, the owner of Pocketeers.
Oh yeah,
Barry. He's an awesome guy, and he helped us out a lot. He actually had a custom made, and I asked him to do it, and it was the coolest thing. I wish I never had taken it out. I'm trying to get it back in now, but it was Buffalo versus Dallas, obviously our last Stanley Cup. Rick Jenneret did the play-by-play. Doug Allen did the national anthem. It did the blue and red lights. It was the coolest bubble hockey machine. So he had that custom made for us. And then COVID happened, and when we were opening back up, limited capacities and 6 feet apart, all that stuff, having all these games was taking up so much space because you couldn't play games. You weren't allowed to stand up. You had to sit down at all times and all those different rules. So we took everything out. But now with this place opening, NOLA, being our featured as the main restaurant, we're going to go back to bringing all the games back to the quarter.
So what was your business like pre-COVID? Like, were you immediately a hit where people just like loved it because it's this new business idea, or was it more of a slow growth that you hit right before COVID?
That was a slow growth. I had a lot of things I needed to learn. I made jokes to my younger brother, and he's a liquor rep, and he had been in the service industry for many years. And I was like, hey, come on, Ian, how hard is it to buy alcohol and sell alcohol? I'll tell you the answer. It's very difficult. It is not as easy as just buying alcohol and selling alcohol. It's very, very difficult. There's a lot of competition, which is a great thing. I always support competition for everything, but there's so much that goes into proper customer service, and just what plateware, what glassware are you going to serve, what size stirring stick are you going to use. There's 1,000 little things that can make or break you in the restaurant industry. And especially, Buffalo being such a food city, I love what everyone does around here. I love that everyone tries to be the best that they can. So it's been tough. When we first started off, it was good, and then it got great. But it did. It took a while. You have to get your name out there, and you have to take a lot of pictures and show all your food, and build a customer base and everything like that. We expect this new spot, NOLA, to take off right off from the get-go, especially after everything that happened through the coronavirus and leading through the lawsuits and everything like that.
Yeah. So go for it. You're going right where I'm going.
Yeah, that's fine.
I was leading you there.
Yeah.
We'll dive into your piece at that, because you were one of the forgotten foursome. That's an NFL reference for those that are historians of the league. But the precedence that the state was putting on small businesses throughout that entire period was historical.
Yep.
Let's just put it that way. So was that like, basically tell people from the beginning how that whole thing happened, because you were one of the first four to sue the state in basic, like, hey man, we need to make some money.
Lead the charge.
Yeah, leave us alone. So you led was that a text message? Was there like a group text where you're like, we're gonna stick it to the man?
In a sense, yeah. I mean, it started off with a couple of us communicating. One of the other restaurants that was involved had already used the attorneys to fight a different coronavirus related battle. And then we started communicating and talking like, hey man, we should really get this going for all restaurants and everything that we can do. So it started off, hey, all right, tell you what, just do this retainer, get some restaurants on board, see if you can reach out, and we'll put together a lawsuit. So from there, I called every single restaurant owner that I knew, every bar owner I knew, and I thought we'd have I was actually very disappointed with certain things. Buffalo, we're a small part of the New York State,
right?
So they say, come up with, I think it was like $25,000, something like that, which relatively statewide, that's nothing. You can get $100 per restaurant, and you get that number in no time. You look at all these restaurants in New York City; they're multi-million-dollar restaurants and stuff like that. And there wasn't anyone. It was only Buffalo that was really putting this fight for the entire state, which seemed very, very awkward to me, but it is what it is. So I think we eventually got 94 restaurants on board. Yeah, I know. There's thousands.
Right.
But we got 94 on board, and our intentions were for everybody. As the lawsuit kept coming and going, it ended up being only the 94 restaurants, and we're like, that's not what we want here. That's not the part of the fight. I understand that we're getting now that extra privilege. And there were certain times when I was trying to tell every single restaurant, you guys don't even have to pay a retainer fee anymore. All you need to have to do is call the attorneys and put your name on the list,
right,
and you could be part of this lawsuit. And still, a lot of them were so hesitant to do it. I think they were fearing retaliation, and which I get. I took some retaliation myself. A bunch of us did. They took away Duff's patio at one point. They took away my patio at one point. You could tell that they were trying to get some payback a little bit, but nature of the beast, I kind of expected that. I knew there was going to be some, fallout from what we were doing.
Were you, I guess, afraid? Where you're like, man, it's New York State, because it can essentially be overwhelming at a face value, especially when documents start showing up and then you see letterheads and you're like, dude, this is for real. Like, we're actually going up against the state right now.
When I was sitting in the Supreme Court, I was like, I'm sitting in the Supreme Court right now. Like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
I could have a lot of my friends could be like, yeah, Brandon probably shouldn't be that guy. But, we kept it as respectful. And one of the biggest things why I was so confident and comfortable doing this was we knew what we were doing was actually best for the people. As we were looking at the statistics and we were seeing, okay, 73% are... the spreading is from house parties because people aren't going to bars. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, well, when we're able to actually monitor and regulate and watch people in our restaurants, I had, hired mask police, people that would go basically security guards, even during dinner service. Please stay seated, keep these tables here, partitions here. We knew that we were actually doing things that were helping the people of Buffalo, as well as keeping our economy going and keeping businesses going. So I was very comfortable doing it. There was always the fear of, okay, I'm going to lose my business. Mm-hmm. But I've always lived by, if you're doing the right thing, things are going to work out.
Sure.
And that actually led to this kind of myself being almost the face of the coronavirus fight, not just one of the people that were in the lawsuit, but the news station started really picking up what was going on, and certain things that I think the very first one was. When the day after, was it St. Patty's Day? That's when the shutdown happened. So I converted my restaurant to takeout only. And what I did was I did all the takeout deliveries myself, donated all the tips back to my staff to keep them working. And then after doing that for 2 weeks and very little sleep, I realized I can't maintain this. So what I started doing was hiring all the different bartenders and servers from all different restaurants, and they'd all get a different shift each week, a couple every night, so they can keep a paycheck coming into their families and stuff. And so the news stories picked up on that, and that sparked different Facebook groups and helped support our service industry. And from there, it just turned into, if something was happening, coronavirus, the news stations were calling me. One time they were doing it about schools. Like, all right, I mean, I have a 4-year-old at the time who's not even in school, but if you want a story about coronavirus, call Brandon. No problem. So 62 news interviews later. And then I think probably my most popular one was a buddy of mine, Tim Walton, and he's one of the owners of bars downtown. He works with Bombs Up and Venue, and he's a big marketing guy and everything like that, and throwing events. It was Black Friday, and I was angry because I was sitting there inside a Target, and everyone's touching all the toys. There's no security guards. At this time, we're like 6 feet apart or not even open. We're up and down at this point. So I took a spray paint and a big cloth. I wrote Walmart with the R spelled backwards. Every day's Black Friday here, and put it up on my sign. I said, "Come on in, people." That one made national news. That was a funny one.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that one went Fox News and OAN, a bunch of news stations. People thought that was pretty funny. I was like, they're going to shut me down after this one. I'm letting, whatever, Black Friday, come on in.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, that's like Lords of Dogtown.
It was.
That's amazing.
That one was funny.
So what was it like getting everybody on board, like the restaurants you were saying? What was your pitch to them? Because, I mean, you took that risk.
Do you want to survive?
Yeah, well, you took that risk, but a lot of people might not want to. So what was your pitch to them?
Most people didn't.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
My pitch was, initially, listen, $500 to do this. That's what was our initial thing. We were trying to reach X amount of dollars, $500, and you'll be part of the fight, and this could save your restaurant. Mm-hmm. It was just as simple as that. Is if we get enough people together, we can do this. And we knew we didn't need thousands and thousands. We just needed enough to, cause an uproar a little bit and make it known that we're fighting. That's all it really takes. And most people would, yeah, sure, let me take a look, and then they'd fizzle away and they wouldn't do it. And some would jump on and be like, come on, let's go, this is great. Yeah. We tried to set up, I don't want to say protest, I'm not really a protester type of guy, but we set up a couple of things of just, we wanted people to show that, hey, come on, let's keep this fight going, let's get us open. So it was very difficult to even speak to people. Plus on top of it, so many restaurants at the time immediately were hurting so bad. The finances were tight. Sure. Who knows if this was okay, $25,000 retainer. Maybe this turns into $300,000 later, you know?
Right.
So I understood, and I completely, respect anyone that was, timid to getting into it. I, on the other hand, I kind of just, when I go, I go.
Yeah. So when you first got to that point, you said that New York State kind of said, okay, you 94 restaurants get a pass.
Yep.
Was there ever any thought to say, this is a win, let's take this win and run with it? Or were you always like, we need all restaurants open?
Well, no, we're always fighting, get us all. This is 94 is not enough. Come on, everybody. And we were hoping that lawsuit would kind of almost pressure the state to, well, if they're doing it with 94, how they can't, and that's not fair. That was kind of our goal was, if we win, that means everyone should win. And we at certain times even said, you know what? We spoke to a lot of different restaurant owners and said, listen, we won. Right now we're open to 4 o'clock in the morning, no curfew. We're still keeping our regulations in place that we feel that will keep people safe. But if they go open and they fine you, you can probably just say, well, they were open.
Right.
If they were open, we could be open. And a lot of places actually started doing that, and they didn't maybe publicize it so much, but they opened up against the protocols. And not to my knowledge, none of them actually even got fined, and maybe one did, and they ended up dropping it anyways.
Yeah.
So it was unfortunate that everyone didn't just come on, guys, let's do this.
It's crazy. Derek and I had a lot of discussions during our weekly episodes about like how the state came up with things. Where after 10 o'clock, COVID shows
the
up.
non-logical rules.
And then there was that, but then also we have Stefan Mihailu coming out, and he's extending fines for the next 100 years. So it was literally half of a penny for a payment.
He and I did a lot of work together. Actually, we did some news interviews and phone calls and stuff like that. He and Joe Larigo and I, it was Joe and I that actually worked on the alcohol to go. That was our legislation that I helped pass with him.
Dude, that was huge.
Yeah, it was huge for us.
This is the guy to thank, everybody.
I don't even want the thanks. I just wanted everyone to be successful and get back to work,
and keep drinking.
And keep drinking. Well, I didn't stop drinking through the whole thing. No, I wasn't drunk the whole time. But yeah, it was very difficult. And, one of the most harsh things was right when they did start to open things back up, not even just the lawsuit, because, that took us still extra time to win that. But when they opened up to the yellow zone and orange zone, red zone, I had fire, SLA, health department in my restaurant twice every single day, just straight up harassing us.
Yeah, right.
And they weren't even, they weren't mean about it, but they were just, haha, we're here.
Right.
If you screw up in the smallest amount, we're gonna hit you. And because of that, we were on edge. And that was actually probably the worst part about everything, was the second I'd leave the restaurant, I would be home, not able to sleep, watching my cameras, texting my staff, hey, that guy stood up, I'm back in the seat, I don't want them to shut us down. It was horrible. It was really like you're sweating constantly, worrying about it. Eventually, I was just like,
yeah, because you can only control what you can control.
You can only do this so much, guys. If they're gonna come get us, they're gonna come get us. Follow the rules. Do your best.
That has to be so stressful.
It was horrible.
If somebody stands up, that's their prerogative. You're supposed to kick them out. Is that
that was
the thing?
You were supposed to kick them out.
That's wild.
What are we supposed to do? And I want to say, like, the very first night, immediately when there was a mask mandate that dropped off or came in, I forget what it was, one of the two. Altercations between customers. Hey, sit down. And I was like, oh, this is not going to end well.
Yeah, that's a lot of insurance paperwork.
It's exhausting.
So you mentioned you didn't think it was real until you were sitting in the Supreme Court, and you're just like, wow, this is wild.
Yeah.
Did you also have, I'm trying to phrase this correctly, did you have hesitation going into it? Because we have a lot of listeners that are out of state, so they don't know like the appellate court system and how New York State works as a whole. They just, everybody knows federal, but nobody really knows how state government works. But our appellate court is historically Democrat. So did you kind of prep yourself to slap the paperwork down with your lawyers and then have them just dismiss it because they're like, no, this is public health, and then not even give you due process?
Yeah, well, they actually, there was very sneaky things that happened throughout this. The one, I forget which because we had won and then they appealed and we lost, and we won and then they appealed and we lost, and that kind of was like a roller coaster with that. The one time I think Cuomo was here like the day before court. I'm like, okay, he's probably out to dinner with the judge right now. We don't stand a chance. We're going to lose now. Why do you think he's here? Be more obvious about it,
Right. Yeah, right.
And we actually ended up winning that case. And then I want to say like 2 or 3 weeks later, they did something where they filed like 500 pages of an appeal at 2:00 in the morning, and then the judge all of a sudden ruled against us, and we're like, we didn't even have a chance to like look at any of this. You guys are so sneaky. And then we counterfought that, and then we won again, and then actually at the very end of it we actually ended up losing, but by that time they were already ready to open up things to kind of where we wanted to be anyway, so it was kind of a moot point at that. It was more so, hey, come on, we can do this safely. It's better that we're doing it safely, and we're going to save lives. And I'm not going to lie, I'll be the first one to say, like, once all this happened and we didn't really know the severity of it, we thought, okay, it's just like the flu, and they're really going overboard with this. I was like, hey, Friday party at my house, let's go.
Right, yeah.
And I knew everyone was doing that. And then the worst thing was when they put in the curfews, 10 o'clock, I was like, watching my patrons, all right, guys, where are we going once this goes? Whose house are we going to? And I'm like, okay, now you have, 80 semi-inebriated people definitely going to a house party, and they're not wearing masks whatsoever. They're on top of each other playing beer pong.
Right.
This is the worst case scenario. It's almost better to be close because people are at least just staying home bored rather than kind of congregate and then, where are we going now?
Sure.
So it's always a fight for business and health. There was both facets of that. So I was very comfortable with it.
So what was your reopening once everything kind of is starting to get back to normal? What was your reopening process to reopen the quarter, and then obviously the process to get into this building here?
Sure. So initially there was the big bang, we'll call it. Once they said, okay, you guys can open up, and we're still at semi capacities, but it was like, it felt like we were opening, and I think that happened around July or August.
They dropped the mask.
Yeah, they dropped the mask. So we had a huge rush of influx of customers. A lot of people trying to support local, and it was amazing. I can't thank the people of Buffalo enough how amazing they were. From there, it was try to tear off each little regulation they still had in play. Then vaccinations came in. The process started all over again of what's right, what's wrong, what can you do. I was never a firm believer of, I'm going to ask you for your vaccination card.
Right.
So what I did was, I have 2 floors in my other at the quarter. So I said, upstairs I have a sectioned off thing, and I put up signs, if you're not vaccinated, please let us know, or you don't feel comfortable being in more of a public scene. Let us know. We'll put you over here. We still have partitions up, table sizes, and we'll keep you more comfortable. It was more about people's comfortability even than actual safety at that point, because the vaccinations were going on and people were informed at this time. They had knowledge about what it's been a year at this point. So it was more just making our patrons comfortable. Once we did that, we got back to finally, more of a real life situation, and we just, focus on our customer service, good food, good atmosphere, the best we can, which led to this place. As the business was growing and we were seeing things are finally back, it's a safe time to make an investment and kind of grow the business and company. So we found this property that, again, I had previously bartended. I knew it was still vacant. Needs a lot of work, but we decided to make the big decision to grow as a company.
Aesthetically it does, but like the structure of it and the details are still so intact.
Oh yeah.
Like the walls, you're not changing anything with the walls, right? Everything is amazing here. It's just the touches that need to bring New Orleans here.
We just got to fix up the things in like the outdoor patio, which was has an outdoor bar, and has the garage doors open up, all the windows, so it's like an enclosed outdoor rooftop patio, which is so cool.
Yeah.
Over the last 5 years, those were just kind of left. So a lot of damage happened to certain parts of the building, but we plan on rebuilding everything the best we can and making it amazing. When we get started here, we're just going to do dinner in first, plus nightlife. Once spring comes along and we can open everything up, we'll really push towards lunch and a nice Sunday brunch and live music and get everything going with there. We're very excited about it.
With the live music aspect, are you going to have a night that's like New Orleans themed music or something like that?
We're still trying to figure that all out. We at the quarter we used to do live jazz Fridays. Every single Friday we'd have just like a local trio and stuff. Really, really talented musicians. And it was so awesome. COVID ended up why we ended up stopping that. I would love to bring as much. Honestly, I've thought about just doing live bands on the sidewalk out front in the street, very New Orleans style.
Sure.
Not even in the building, just drawing that atmosphere, keep really going right down the middle of what New Orleans sounds like.
Well, you got that front bar or the front patio too. Just throw up a.
I plan on just sitting out there throwing beads at people.
Yeah.
That'd be huge though for like a New Orleans festival in Franklin, because if they can close 55 Chicago for like, I don't know, 3 years at this point, I don't know why you can't do a festival for one day on Franklin.
Well, I've spoken to some of the other New Orleans restaurants. One in particular, this guy Michael that owns the Bayou. It's a really cool New Orleans place that opened up. It was over on was that French, and they just recently moved. But I really want to bring back the New Orleans a Mardi Gras parade. We did that X amount of years ago. I really want to kind of lead the charge in that, see what I can do to bring a parade back, even if it's just come down Elmwood, or Delaware, which either one, maybe make its way down Chippewa, then come down Franklin, and end right here in the big parking lot that's attached to Shays. And I think that would be so cool to, again, why don't we have a Mardi Gras parade here? It's Buffalo. This would be so cool to do a Mardi Gras parade. St. Patty's Day parade is awesome. All the different parades we do. The Pride Parade is amazing. It's great for the community. I'd love to bring that back here.
That's awesome.
I don't know why we wouldn't, especially just because once sporting events kind of took off, then what the hell's a parade outside?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, they canceled the St. Patrick's Day parade, I believe, twice.
Twice now. Yep.
So if this is the year,
people are gonna rage this year.
Yeah, my people are gonna go nuts.
Yeah.
And one of the great features of this building is the way it's set up. That outdoor patio is it's in a box form. It does that entire parking lot there. I think it'd be awesome to get all these people out there throwing beads. Even the way the restaurant's set up here, we kind of have an overlook to the bar. I'd really now I know Mardi Gras is 1 week of the year of New Orleans,
right?
And we don't intend on having this place look like Mardi Gras 52 weeks a year. I'd rather it be like a nice, fine New Orleans restaurant in New Orleans, but here in Buffalo. And maybe now and then we have some of the nightlife that's Mardi Gras, but Mardi Gras is actually kind of, I think it's a little kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't think I have the energy for that. I'm 37. Right? Yeah, I think so. I would like to keep this more so a nice restaurant here.
So you bought this place in the beginning of October. When are you planning on opening it?
So, that's a great question. We're waiting on all the state licensing to figure all of that out. And I've heard that the process is actually a little quicker. I was expecting everything to be a lot slower.
Not for you. You led the charge.
Yeah, really.
I shouldn't be telling you when I have this place yet. No, but you have to do things like a 500-foot hearing for the liquor license. I didn't know if that was something. The courts are backed up a year, or are they not even doing court? And maybe so. I've actually heard that the liquor license are being expedited a little bit. So our target date is, give or take, the new year.
Okay.
Right around then. We expect probably the first, second, or third week of January we'll have all the license, everything set up. We're still going to do a very soft opening for a while. One thing that I've seen over the years, and I've always hated, is when a new place opens up, and it's like every single staff member's, that's their first day. No one has any idea what's going on. Everyone bombards the place. No one can get a drink for an hour, and that's the last thing I want. So, we'll start with either, a limited capacity in the beginning. I'm already, one of the benefits I have is I'm going to utilize the quarter to train a lot of the staff that will be coming here. So starting in November and December, every single Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we're going to do chef specials with 2 or 3 items that are going to be here.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to do a big thing like, hey, if you come in and give us feedback of what you think of this, we'll give you 5% off your meals and everything like that. So we can try every single thing, get our staff fully trained and on board, fully knowledgeable of exactly what we're doing. So the transition over here is very good. And then we'll still, for 3-4 weeks, slow play it in. I'm not trying to rush anything right now. I want to make sure everything tastes perfect. Our staff knows everything, how to work the computer properly, how to make every single cocktail consistent, all the dishes consistent. So if my chef has a day off or whatever it is, or my sous chef, executive chef, everyone can make everything exactly the same, the way that we want it to taste. So we're going to take our time with this and make sure it comes down perfect.
I mean, if you want taste testers, let us know, because we can easily double date and just help you out.
We can do a follow-up here of just us sitting eating.
Perfect. That's
totally fine with it.
There you go. Yeah, discussing how there could be more oregano. Who knows?
So what dishes are you planning? We talked about what you offer at the quarter, but what are you planning on bringing here? Any staples that you're looking at, or?
Yeah, so we're gonna right down the middle. Our gumbo, jambalaya, shrimp etouffee. One menu item that I want to take off here that didn't take off at the quarter, and I still don't know if it's gonna take off here just because Buffalo is the muffaletta. And the muffaletta in New Orleans is basically like the stinger at Jim's Steakhouse. That's like, or the chicken finger sub. That's, if you go down there, you could either get a po' boy or a muffaletta. That's one of the big things. And I think people just love their Jim's Steakhouse stingers so much that they see this sandwich that's very, similarly different sorted meats and olive salad and stuff like that, or our po' boys. We don't have oyster sandwiches here, but the muffaletta is similar to a lot of different sandwiches here that people just have. Well, if I'm going to get a sandwich, I go to Jim's Steakhouse, which supports Jim's Steakhouse. I love Jim's Steakhouse. I
absolutely.
Chicken finger subs all the time. I wish they were still open until 4 o'clock in the morning. Open up till 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, why did they stop that?
All restaurant. There's no late night food anywhere right now, except for when we open.
Staffing, right?
But at this point, it's not staffing anymore. I still think they could do it. I don't know why. I truly don't know. Like, even the restaurant that's across the street from Mother's, they were famous for you can get a steak at 3 o'clock in the morning and have real nice food and great wine. I think they close up around 12:30, 1 o'clock. I'm like, you guys are crazy. You guys could be the only place offering. You guys will be packed, but maybe it is staffing. I'm not too sure. Maybe just the numbers don't make sense. A lot of it I know is the food pricing.
That makes sense.
It is obnoxious right now. One of the features we're doing at the quarter this weekend is scallops, and we got a 5-pound bag. It was $140. I'm gonna have to charge $30 for 2 scallops. This doesn't, it just doesn't make sense anymore. Obviously, chicken wings, as we know, there was a shortage, and now they jacked up in price. I took them right off my menu. I'm like, I'm gonna wait till this comes down.
Isn't French fries up now too?
Everything is up right now. It's just absurd. So that could be that, and to recreate you have to reinvent the wheel to the old third goes the house, third goes the staff, third goes the food, prior to the restaurant. It doesn't that model does not work anymore. So I believe that's what led to a lot of the businesses that closed, that especially the older generation that were so stuck on that's my model. Then they were didn't want to change with it, and they didn't survive through it.
Yeah, that's sad.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I can go off on a rant about pricing, but
We'll keep that.
I'll just stay calm. I'll just stay calm.
Keep it PG.
So what's next? Just trying to figure all this spot out?
Yeah, who's helping you with this, man? Come on. Thunder and lightning.
I'm in here 10 hours every single day, scrubbing every floor, doing inventory. I haven't had, and I've had plenty of people, hey, come on, let me know. I'll come in there and we'll help you clean up. And I got this. Don't worry about it. When it comes closer and I'm under the gun, I'll do it. But
there's certain pride doing it yourself too. When you're done,
I'm a worker. I love working. There's certain times if you saw those bench seats that are not up here right now because thunder and lightning are only so strong. So every once in a while, hey, give me a hand real quick. But, I'm in here scrubbing every single inch of this. I'm scrubbing down the walls, getting all the grease off everything, preparing everything. And once we get closer, 2 weeks before, then I'll hire the commercial company, come in and disinfect everything and scrub everything down. But to be honest, right now, funny story, not the smartest thing of me to do. When this was Bambino, at one point the brick oven had started a fire, and all the embers that came down landed on the patio roof. That is like a vinyl roof, so there was 1,000 little burnt holes through the entire thing. Well, I'm thinking, okay, well, that has to be fixed. I get a ladder and patch every single little pinhole. It took like 8 hours. And I'm terrified of heights. I'm up on a ladder by myself up here, holding on for dear life, patching the entire thing just to get it back to so rain's not coming through, and so it's a workable roof again. Probably not the smartest thing.
That's insane.
Yeah, my brother wasn't too happy about that. He's like, yeah, you should have done it this way.
Just buy a new.
Well, no, I would love to. Just that structure was like
Yeah.
$200,000 to replace. I'm like,
Yeah, that's the. I don't want to do
build
this.
a new building if I'm
Right,
doing
yeah.
this.
Exactly.
So how long was this vacant before you?
5 years. Yeah.
And I'm sure when they left, they didn't clean the place.
There's still cranberry juice jugs. I mean, this was a well. See you later. I was, and I don't know. I'm not saying that they left it gross. It was more of a situation of I believe the building owner and tenant just kind of butted heads and well, see you later. I'm out of here.
Sure.
Locked door and just left it here. So yeah, when I came in, there were some very very interesting things in this building.
How did it smell?
Not bad. Not
sometimes
bad.
you walk in and you're just like something's off,
it
man.
had the dusty smell, like
Yeah, the musk.
Yeah, the musk. It had a musk to it, but it wasn't bad. You know, they semi-maintained it throughout.
It's like night at the museum when you walk in.
My first thing I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna walk out of this place, and yeah, it's gonna be awful. I walked in, I'm like, wow, you know, the structure itself is still in a really really good shape. And there's a couple refrigerators and freezers I'm terrified to open for the first time, but they did a great job actually emptying all that stuff out. So.
Well, even like all the wood features and fixtures and everything looks.
Oh, you'll notice there's no
it
dust
looks really
on them.
good.
Yeah, a week
Because
ago
you
it didn't.
Yeah.
This is all me.
That's insane.
I didn't finish it. You see some windowsill stuff, some dust, but
This is awesome. I mean, congrats on this. This
Thank
is
you.
so cool.
yeah, it's going to be an amazing thing. I'm really looking forward to bringing another amazing place to Buffalo. I'm so happy that 500 Pearl and Vice and all that opened right up there. If you look at like a topographical map of us, we are dead center of literally everything. You have on every direction. You still have, you know, Marcella's the new beer place where you pour your own beer. Vice and 500 Chop House, Chippewa, Dinosaur. We are with dead center of everything. And so,
And you have a different business than all of them for the most part too. So it's
unique. Yeah,
it's really sweet.
Yeah. So we think this is going to be in a very special place for everyone in Buffalo.
That's amazing.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
Anything that we talked or we didn't touch on that you wanted to hit on for your social media? Do you have a social media account already for this restaurant? Can people? What's the @ so people can follow it?
NOLA.
I love it.
NOLA Restaurant and Bar, NOLA Bar and Restaurant.
Okay, one of those. We'll throw it in the description for you guys. Are you putting progress pics on there, or like what type of content?
I did an initial
Okay.
before picture.
Good.
Yeah, I don't want to do too much of. I kind of want to leave some little mysterious here to see where the final project is. So we have so many great ideas that we'll see how much we get done. I think we're going to do probably 75% of the stuff that we want to do, and other stuff probably hold off on and wait till spring to work on projects and grow it as it goes. Now, I have a bunch of cool ideas, but we'll see.
Sure.
I'm kind of a pipe dreamer, so some of the stuff will come true, other will hit the back burner of my brain, but yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, man, for sitting down with us.
Yep.
We really appreciate it. We love what you're doing. We love what you did for Buffalo, and you continue to do so. Thank you, and everybody come check them out when they're open. And in the meantime, check out the Quarter because it's just as good.
All right. Thank you guys so
Thank you,
much.
man.
Really
Appreciate
appreciate your
it.
time.